It's the Real News Network. I'm Sharmini Pires coming to you from Baltimore. Most media outlets in the U.S. and in Israel this week were harping about President Donald Trump and how he made history by becoming the first sitting U.S. president to visit the Western Wall in Jerusalem's Old City. It's a good time to talk about walls. The walls President is visiting, the wall that Israel has built between Israel and Palestine, the wall that President Trump is planning to expand on between Mexico and U.S. And in spite of these walls and separations, President Trump was apparently carrying the message of peace and unity to Israel and Palestine. Let's have a look.
We have before us a rare opportunity to bring security and stability and peace to this region and to its people, defeating terrorism and creating a future of harmony, prosperity, and peace. But we can only get there working together. The
Israeli occupation of the Palestinian West Bank and Gaza Strip is now 50 years old. For 50 years, Palestinians have struggled to become free of the occupation, and they used a variety of means of resistance. If we compare the struggles of Palestinian freedom to the occupation struggles in, say, Algeria, Vietnam, or even Kashmir, Palestine stands out as one of the least violent of them. A part of the Palestinian struggle for liberation uses the term culture as resistance. Can art be used as a weapon or art as a form of unarmed resistance? For that discussion in our Baltimore studio today is Mohammed Sabaneh. He is a Palestinian. He is a painter, caricaturist, and a cartoon artist. His cartoons appear in dozens of newspapers, and he's a member of CRNI, Cartoon Rights International Network. Mohammed uses art as a form of unarmed resistance. Mohammed has just published a book of his cartoons titled White and Black Political Cartoons from Palestine. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for this invitation.
So, Mohammed, you grew up in Palestine, and you were surrounded by Israeli military arms, tanks, guns, soldiers, and so on. And yet you chose to pick up a paintbrush, a pencil, and use art as a form of resistance. Tell us about how that happened.
Actually, I was born in Kuwait in 1979, and because of my family, my parents was in Kuwait, they used to tell me about Palestine through the news, about the first Intifada, what's happening in Palestine, and also my family, and especially my mother, used the cartoon of Naji Al-Ali to tell me what's going on in Palestine during that time. And after the first Gulf War, we traveled to Jordan, and from Jordan to Palestine. And I think we need to keep our cultural life and arts as a tool for resistance, very strong, because it's proved that the Palestinian people, they are a human being and they have a lot of tools to resist against the occupation, and that doesn't mean drop the right of Palestinians to resist in any way they choose, because they are people under occupation, and we should use all of the kind of resist against occupation, the longest occupation on this earth. And I think it's a good tool, and you can reach all of the people around the world, especially most of my cartoon now without any dialogue, without any text, and it's very important to convey this suffering to the people around the world. And you can find a lot of cartoon in my book without any text, without anything. You can understand it and understand what's happening there. It's hard to raise your pen in front of their weapon, but that's what I should do, and all of our artists and writers should do.
Right. Let's talk about your book, White and Black Political Cartoons from Palestine. And you document in this book various forms of very, very hardening and deep-felt political art And the collection together is, it feels like an entire movement coming together. Give us your favorite piece in here and describe it for us.
Maybe it's hard to choose one and say that this cartoon or this artwork is the special cartoon in all of this artwork, but maybe the first chapter, because it was very long cartoon talking about the Palestinian history, and I spent around 1 month just working in this cartoon. It was very hard. I liked some of my artwork, which I used the linoleum cut in it. It's the first time for me to use the linoleum cut, and I feel that most of the people like all of this artwork, and I think it is something new and give my book good value, good artistic value, and this is something very important for me, not just to convey political message, and also to keep it in good artistic form by a good cartoon, by used by a lot of technique and art tools and style, and this is something I tried to do it, and I hope I reach it.
Mohammed, I did the opening to this interview describing President Donald Trump's visit to Jerusalem. And of course, the visit to the wall. And in a very timely way, you also have a cartoon with a caricature of President Trump on a wall. Describe that to us and what you wanted to convey.
Actually, I know that Mr. Trump wants to build this wall around the United States to prevent the immigrant to come to the United States, and this is something most of the people refuse it, and he won't. I think now he had a good opportunity to see the wall between the Palestinian and Israeli. Can imagine how the wall will be in United States, and he will have a good experience there, I think, from the segregation Israeli wall around the West Bank. And actually, I'm against the wall, against the separation, against the segregation, and that's why also I did a lot of cartoon about the wall here in the United States, which Trump decided to do on the border between the United States and Mexico, and I did also against his executive decision that's banned more than 7 Muslim nations to come also to the United States. I did a lot of cartoon about this decision because as a Palestinian we suffered from all of these things, and we hope that the people around the world will not face the same life and the same way to travel between the countries.
There is a huge resistance going on the part of prisoners in Palestine, imprisoned by the Israeli state, and they're resisting their conditions. Now, you yourself had a prison experience. First, tell us about that experience and the kinds of resistance that are going on in these prisons by way of political resistance of their conditions.
As you mentioned, Moilan, more than 1,600 Palestinian prisoners, they are on hunger strike to enhance the condition inside the Israeli prison and to have their rights, their needs as a human being. And during all of my tours, I always talking about the prisoner and ask the people to solidarity with the prisoner. Yeah, there is some similarity between Palestine, what's happening in Palestine and what's happening with the Black Lives Matter here in States. We can make matching between the wall between United States and what's happening in Palestine. But also there is a lot of difference in here. Maybe you say that the policemen make like unvirtual wall. They surrounded the people, the black people. But in Palestine, we have real wall, real checkpoint, real settlement, and this is something very bad because it's not just keep the people around their cities and inside their cities, and also they keep them in big prisons like Gaza, what's happening in Gaza. And now I want to go back to the prisoners. You know, I've been in the prison for more than 5 months, and I spent around 3 weeks in solidarity and confinement during the interrogations. And now the conditions inside this cell, it was very hard. They locked the prisoner in small cells surrounded by it's with rough walls. Even the prisoner cannot lie down on the walls because it's too rough, and with small dim lights inside the cell, and they just give the prisoner just one thing, broken toothbrush, because they think if they give the prisoner a toothbrush, maybe he will use it to kill himself because of this condition. And now the leaders of this hunger strike, they are in the same condition, in this small cell. You can imagine how much it's hard for one who spent more than now 36 days in this hunger strike, and he now in this condition. This is the right for the Palestinian prisoner, not just to enhance their condition in Israeli prison, their rights to be free, to release from the prison, because they fight for the freedom. They fight for the Palestinian freedom, for the dignity of all the Palestinians, and we should demand that they be to be free and to be released from the prison, not just to enhance their condition inside the prison. It's hard now to talk about the people spent 36 days now on hunger strike and just to enhance their condition. We should demand to release them from the prison, and this is our duty and the duty of our leaders, our political leaders. That's what I believed, and that's what we should work on it.
Right. No one actually is talking about the fact that these are political prisoners. You know, they're part of a movement, a liberation movement, and they're fighting for the not only their own personal freedoms, but really the freedom of the collective nation. And give us a sense of whether you have any inclination as to how, or even if, the Western media is even covering this hunger strike that's going on, and the political nature of the prisoners there while President Trump is visiting.
Actually, I don't think that the covering in the Western media was enough. Most of my friends tried to do that. Arab Barghouthi, the son of Marwan Barghouthi, tried to reach a lot of media, and maybe we can also meet him here in Baltimore. He's a good speaker, and he talks a lot with the Western media. I tried to reach a lot of cartoonists around the world to tell them about what's happening with the Palestinian prisoner, to cover this thing by their cartoon. And I don't think that the covering for what's happening in Palestine it's enough, because it's something very dangerous now. I don't think the situation now with the prisoner it's safe, and if any bad thing happen for one of the Palestinian prisoners, the situation will not be stable in the West Bank and Palestinian area, because they should support the prisoner, and they have a family outside support her, and the Palestinians consider them as heroes and as human beings, and we should keep them and support them in any way. And we should try also to reach all the Western media to talk about this thing. I don't know if Mr. Trump will know about them or not, or anyone will talk about the Palestinian prisoner or not. I hope that. But I hope he can see the struggles for the prisoner in the front of Al-Mahd Church in Bethlehem. They have tended to support the prisoner. I hope he will see it and know what's happening inside the Israeli prison.
All right, Mohammed. I've been speaking with Mohammed Sabani, and he is the author of this cartoon book, White and Black, Political Cartoons from Palestine. I thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us here on the Real News Network, and stay tuned to part 2 with Mohammed Sabani.